How you going, people? Well, it's Sunday morning after my live where we had a few drinks. So I'm just kind of, all my feeds coming up with Judge Napolitano because I've been watching some of his stuff. And I'm telling you, man, I know some people have some negative opinions of this guy, but man, he makes a lot of damn sense. And he's funny, and he seems like a genuine good dude. So I wanted to play a couple clips that I found that are pretty good for him. Here we go.
The Civil War was necessary. I don't think it was necessary to kill 750,000 people. I don't think the goal of the Civil War was to eradicate slavery. I think the decision to eradicate slavery came about by way of a military gesture halfway through the Civil War. The government could very well have condemned the slaves as you condemn property and bought them from the slave owners without killing 750,000 people.
That is a really great point, that if government wants the guns, they can buy them. They can't take them. That's not exactly what he said, but he's a big proponent of natural rights, and he explains it in another part. I'll try and find it on how natural rights, and I think he explains it to where Congress can't pass a law. Let's say the earth is flat or the earth is round. If it's flat, Congress can't pass a law saying it's round. And if it's round, the president can't sign an executive order making it flat. And then that goes into what natural rights and natural laws are. Government cannot take away the freedoms and liberties of individuals.
Because Lincoln's soldiers killed civilians, raped women, robbed banks, burnt courthouses, and they all got away with it.
Lincoln is hailed as this great big hero, and if you study history, he's not really the greatest guy that he's made out to be. But
and I don't think any of it was necessary. No, I say that as a person who was a fierce opponent of slavery, whether based on race or not.
And what he's talking about based on race or not is when government enslaves people, it doesn't matter what race they are. Any slavery is bad.
But there would have been easier, better, faster, more efficient, less violent ways to have achieved that. Lincoln's goal, in my view, was to strengthen the federal government by making it a crime for the states to undo what they had voluntarily done.
What a great point. The states voluntarily entered into the United States, and now it's a crime, and states cannot remove themselves. You talk about a shift in power. I mean, I've been calling for Texas to get out of the Union for I don't know how long, and I think it would be great if other states did it. And the federal government has made it illegal, so you voluntarily get in it, and then you can never leave. Wow.
Join the Union.
Give us a little about Justice Scalia, your thoughts.
This is a great clip on him and Scalia because they were buddies. And Scalia is known as one of the greats in the Supreme Court. I'd still like to know more about his death because I don't trust the government, but it's a great story.
Well, he was a very dear friend of mine. He was funny, combative, witty, short-tempered, impatient with those who disagreed with him, usually the smartest person in the room.
Those are a lot of traits of type A people who are at the top of their game, confident. They're often called those things.
Many meals with him. We vacationed together. There were times when Mrs. Scalia had to separate us, not physically, but sort of verbally at the dinner table because we were disagreeing over so many things. Well, a lot of funny things happened. So he and I are seated in a restaurant together having lunch. This is almost embarrassing. In Washington, D.C., and there are four well-dressed gentlemen, a couple tables over, and they come over and they announce that they are lawyers from Minnesota. And before he can say anything or I can say...
Okay, so for those that don't know, when lawyers talk to Supreme Court justices, it's kind of a big deal. Now, you have to put this in context. These guys are all lawyers, and they come over to Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, and he's sitting with Judge Napolitano, who works at Fox News, just to put it in context.
Say anything. They look at me and they go, Judge, we loved what you did on Fox and Friends this morning. I'm going, this is Justice Scalia who's on the Supreme Court. And I go like, hi. And what is Megyn Kelly really like? And when they left, he says to me, are these people from the moon? And then he looks at me, this typical Scalia. If you set that up, I'll kill you. Oh, I didn't set this up. These guys, I don't know who these people are. They're more interested in talking to me about Megyn Kelly than you about the Supreme Court. So Justice Scalia and I did a program like this, one-on-one in front of a couple of thousand people at the Brooklyn Academy of Music. And Mrs. Scalia and he stayed at the University Club, a lovely private facility in New York City. And when I brought them there, I said, this library is gorgeous here, and it's open 24/7.
Oh, I forgot. This is funny. Justice Scalia stole a book from the library and wanted him to return it. This shit is hilarious.
So any member or guest can come anytime and take a book out of the library. About 3 weeks later, he calls me up. Remember you told me about the library? Yes. Well, I couldn't sleep, so I went down there. When did you go down there? Well, it was 1:30 in the morning. I was wearing my slippers, my bathrobe, and pajamas. Oh, my God. If somebody sees you at 1:30 in the morning in the library dressed like that, they'll think you were a ghost. Well, I found a book, and I enjoyed it. And I brought it back to the room, and I started to sleep, and I started to read, and I fell asleep. All right, well, how does this concern me? Well, let me finish. I'll tell you how it concerns you. While I was shaving the next morning, Maureen packed the book. Where's the book now? Staring me in the face. It's right here in the court. What do you want me to do with it? What do I want you to do with it? I want you to sneak it back in that library. Well, let me get this straight, Nino. You're a justice of the Supreme Court. I'm a TV guy who thrives on these kind of things. You want me to sneak this book back in the library? You're goddamn right. I don't want you to tell anybody.
What a great story.
So the screen on my phone shows the name of who's calling, and I see my Princeton buddy and Fox News colleague, John Stossel. What the hell is he calling me up for? His office is 2 doors away. Johnny, oh, Judge, I got to be on O'Reilly tonight, and I don't want to go on. Can you take the gig? What are you, crazy? You want me to show up down there instead of you? They'll ban me and they'll ban you. Why don't you want to go on? Because he wants me to talk about drones. I don't know anything about drones. I said, well, Johnny, can I give you some information about drones? Can I give you some of the columns that I've written? I'm just a consumer reporter. I don't know anything about drones. Johnny, I'll send you my columns. So I sent him the links. He reads them. He calls me back about an hour later. He goes, okay, I see now. The president can't kill people. You're entitled to due process. Only the Congress can declare war.
All of which Obama did and didn't care. And Congress did nothing to him because they didn't want to be called the R word.
Okay, I get it. But something weird is going to happen. I don't want to go on that show tonight. Can you show up instead of me? What are you, crazy? No, I can't show up instead of you. I go home, I go to bed. I'm not going to watch O'Reilly at 8 o'clock at night. The next morning I come in, Johnny, what happened? He said, well, you're not going to believe what happened. I go down there in the studio, no O'Reilly. No O'Reilly. Yeah, there was a camera there. There was a sound technician. There was a camera operator. O'Reilly was before a live studio audience of 500 people in Los Angeles. And my face, this is Stossel, was on a screen 10 times life size. So O'Reilly starts, all right, Stossel, what's wrong with the drones? They kill the bad people, they save the good people half the time, so we don't even know what the hell's happening. Yes, Bill, but under the Constitution, we're entitled to due process. If the government wants life, liberty, or property, it has to either declare war or sue us. That's the law of the land. Otherwise, Bill, they could use a drone on you. Wait a minute, Stossel. Did you get these arguments from Judge Napolitano? And John goes, Well, as a matter of fact, I did. O'Reilly goes, big deal. He's not on the Supreme Court. The best he can do is Fox and Friends.
Oh, shit. This guy is really I think he claims as a libertarian. I think he's a hardcore conservative, but others would argue. People call me libertarian. Anyway, I got a couple other clips. Hang on. So this is how he answers whether politicians can lie and we don't do anything about it.
It's kind of a reflection of political reality. I mean, what authority in the United States would surveil statements by politicians for their truthfulness? Whoever that is would be the busiest person on the planet. And we've pretty much thrown up our hands and said, let the voters decide if they think a politician is lying. They may like the person even though the person has told a lie. But the general rule of thumb is that for public figures, that would be you and me, that would be anybody who works in front of a microphone or a camera, it would be anybody running for office, it would be anybody whose name is well known. A-Rod is a public figure, even though he doesn't run for office and doesn't work in front of, strictly speaking, a camera or a microphone. Any public figure, the law is the following. You can say anything you want about that person unless you know what you're saying is false and say it anyway, or unless you are reckless in your concern for whether it is true or false. That is pretty much the rule of thumb. But in a political campaign, particularly a presidential campaign, it is almost inconceivable that the courts would hear a defamation action of one politician against another. A, we expect them to lie. B, the remedy for lying is rejection by the voters. Now, I'll give you another example where the courts have condoned.
This is a big problem because I think so many people are so desensitized to the lies, they don't even care that they're being lied to. They just want to vote either their party or who they like better, or vote against who they hate more. Trump being the case. Good for the country, good for a lot of things. People didn't vote for him because they didn't like him.
Lying. And this gets us back to Mrs. Clinton. Mrs. Clinton will soon be faced with the following very, very difficult choice.
Unfortunately, she was never faced with this choice because the freaking crooked Justice Department let her walk.
When the U.S. prosecutors working with the 147 FBI agents assigned to investigate her call up her lawyer.
147 FBI agents, they can't get one charge. They can charge you for freaking stepping on an ant when you're walking. And 147 agents can't find one charge on Hillary Clinton? Give me a break.
And say, we have all of this evidence here. What do you want us to do with it? What do you mean, what do you want us to do with it? Well, do you want us to present it to a grand jury, or do you want to give us your version of it? Basically, will your client, Hillary Rodham Clinton, come in and talk to us? That is an awful choice for her to make. Because if she does go in and talk to them, they can lie to her.
This is very important, and I've said this before. Government, as cops, we can lie, we can deceive, we can tell you mistruths. Nothing you can do about it. However, when you're talking to an FBI agent, if you lie, you can be charged and you can go to prison. This is a very important thing that everybody needs to know. Why I always say, never talk to cops, whether they're feds or they're locals. It gets you nothing but grief, misery, and possibly more fines and prison time.
Legally, she cannot lie to them, even though she won't be under oath. This is the Martha Stewart case. Martha Stewart is having a conversation in an FBI office with her lawyer. And her lawyer says to the FBI agent, is my client under investigation? And the FBI agent says, no, it was a lie. Then they asked Mrs. Stewart questions, and she told two lies. Did the FBI agent get prosecuted? No, he got a promotion. Did she get prosecuted? Yes, she did. Was she under oath? No, she was not under oath.
That is such a BS law. There's no reason that the government should tell me I have to be truthful with them. It's none of their damn business. I don't have to talk to them. I shouldn't have to be truthful. it doesn't matter, but our country's so freaking lost.
So in an official conversation, not talking about in a restaurant or at a ball game, but in an official conversation where the FBI is conducting an investigation.
When he's talking about official, it means when an FBI agent goes under the color, he identifies himself and he's conducting investigation. If you're talking to an FBI agent at a ball game and you guys are just talking and you're going back and forth, he's not under the color of official authority.
Investigation. If you lie to the FBI, you can be prosecuted. So Mrs. Clinton will then be faced with the following choice. Does she go in or doesn't she? The prudent advice that criminal lawyers give their clients is don't go in there. Don't talk to them because you don't know what they know. They can lie to you. They can trick you. And if you give an answer inconsistent with something else you've said, they're going to prosecute you for it. Now, she's a lawyer. Her lawyer is David Petraeus' lawyer, so he's dealt with this before. Same lawyer representing both. I don't know whether she's going to go in or not, but I do know that she has said, I can't wait to talk to the FBI. Everybody can wait to talk to the FBI.
Oh, shit.
So if she does not go in there, they will leak the fact that when she said she couldn't wait to talk to us, she lied because she refused to come in. And if she does go in there, they will leak whatever she tells them that is inconsistent with what they know the evidence to be. Either way, she will lose.
Okay, so anyway, I just ran across these clips. I thought these were some pretty good points and thought I'd share, kind of document them so hopefully they don't get removed. All right, we'll end that there.